Hello, Misfit Nation. Welcome to another edition of Lessons for Hannah. Many years ago, I introduced a new format that is alongside our regular episodes, and they are called Lessons for Hannah episodes. Hannah's my daughter, and one of the main inspirations, or originally the main inspiration for the Misfit Entrepreneur. I wanted to have a place where she could go and learn from her dad and his misfit friends long after I was dead and gone throughout her entire life. If you haven't listened to the first episode of Lessons for Hannah, I urge you to, as it gives some of the more background and tells really the amazing story of how Hannah came to be in our lives. Lessons for Hannah, these are very short, very useful, sometimes comical lessons that I want to share with you and give to Hannah to help in all of your lives. And because I want Hannah to have these for her life, I'm going to speak as though I am talking directly to her in these episodes. So the episodes, they're a lot of fun. If you think there's a lesson that we should include in these, that you feel is important, please don't hesitate to send it to us. You can send it to us at support@misfitentrepreneur.com. We'd love to share it. So thank you for that. And as a reminder, if you are new to this channel, you're new to watching the show on YouTube, hit the subscribe button down below. Give this episode a like, a rating, and a comment as well. We do our best to respond to all comments as timely as possible as we get them. So thank you to all of you that do that. All right, so here it goes. This week's lesson for Hannah. Hannah, I came across an old principle the other day that was born of something that happened when Britain ruled India a long time ago. And the principle is called the Cobra Effect. The Cobra Effect comes from an effort by the British government to reduce the population of cobras in Delhi, India, during their colonial expansion as they were expanding across the country. The cobras that they were encountering were a threat. They were killing more and more people as the colonization and the population grew in the country. So, what did they do? Well, the British offered a bounty for every single dead cobra that was brought to them. And because much of India at the time had very little of means or wealth, and the pay was good for this, people actually started breeding cobras so that they could kill them and then take them to the British and collect the bounties. Well, when the British found out about this and found out that they were essentially getting scammed, they ceased the program. But the problem was all of these people had now bred all of these cobras. So what did they do? They released them all into the wild, which increased the cobra population to higher levels than before the program had even started. This is a classic example of when an attempted solution to a problem ends up making the problem much worse than it was originally. And it's a great lesson that can be used in life and business and really all areas, right? And so I wanted to give you some of my key takeaways from the story so that you can use them in your life. The first is beware unintended consequences. The Cobra Effect illustrates how well-intended actions can have unintended and counterproductive real consequences, right? And in this case, the policy designed to really reduce the cobras ended up increasing their population. And many people in life do things without thinking about them through in thinking them really through in detail, and that leads to unintended consequences, whether in business or relationships. And really, in today's world, stopping and thinking is becoming more and more rare, but those that actually do so and have the habit of doing so have a big advantage. The second point that I took away from this is that incentives in life matter. Another key lesson is really that incentives play a crucial role in human behavior. When people see an opportunity to gain from a certain action, they're more likely to take that action, even if it maybe goes against the original intention, right? And so this is a very important lesson of business, or even if someday you're building a company, as the way you approach the market. The incentives that you put out there, it needs to be strategic, and you have to make sure that you aren't harming your success versus helping it with the way that you incentivize customers to work with you and even employees and everything else, right? The third point that I took from this is short-term thinking. I noted on some of it before, but sometimes quick fixes or short-term solutions can backfire in the long run. And in the case of the Cobra effect, it backfired in a huge way. The government's focus on that quick fix, that immediate goal of reducing the Cobra population, led to a major failure to consider the real bigger, broader implications of their policy, and it created absolute havoc in the end. The fourth point and lesson really from the story too, even though it wasn't such a good way, was around adaptability. It's a great lesson in adapting. People are very resourceful and adaptable. And when faced with new incentives or constraints, they find creative ways to navigate them, and sometimes in ways that weren't anticipated or in negative ways, right? So in life, you want to adapt and find opportunities all the time and take advantage of them, but you want to do it in ethical ways. And you should do everything possible to do so in an ethical way. Just beware that others will take advantage in unethical ways. And don't go along with them, and be on guard for it in your own life. The fifth lesson that I took from this, and the key point, is that actions have consequences. They have ripple effect. Whether you realize or not, your actions in life have these ripple effects and impact a lot more than just yourself. The Cobra effect serves as a reminder that understanding these complexities and really these crucial areas when making decisions, right, is key, right? You need to do that, but you also cannot let it paralyze you. Just be aware that decisions do have consequences, good and bad, and you have to be prepared to deal with both because you're going to have to throughout life. The last lesson is developing your flexibility. When faced with the Cobra effect or similar situations like it, you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to make changes in response to the shifting circumstances around you. Recognizing a mistake and taking corrective action ASAP is a very, very important skill for life. Hannah, the Cobra effect serves as a great lesson about the unintended consequences of well intentioned actions and the importance of carefully considering incentives and being adaptable and really having long-term thinking when making especially big decisions, whether in business or other areas of life. Understanding the lesson will serve you well, and like I said, especially when making big decisions, help you in really success and personal growth throughout your entire life. So I hope you take the Cobra effect to heart and put it to work for you, and learn the lessons that I'm sharing from it. I love you, Dad.